Hi, this is group number 4, and this is our idea for the new suspension of the Baja car. I'm Aaron Matarisi, and I'm responsible for the research for the McPherson strut and some of the SolidWorks.
Hi, I'm Aaron Morissette, and I was the one in the group responsible for putting everything together on SolidWorks and making the suspension system work in an animation.
Hi, I'm Michael McWeeny, and I'm responsible for the PowerPoint as well as editing our final report.
Hi, I'm Laura Luber, and I'm responsible for compiling and editing our final report.
Hi, my name is Andrew Moreno. For this project, I did the research on the double A-arm or wishbone suspension.
The McPherson strut is one type of independent suspension system, and the advantages of it is that it's very simple to make, and it requires very little materials, and you can put like an engine or a drivetrain or anything between the wheel hubs, but the problem is that it takes up a lot of lateral vertical space, and that because of the way it's designed, it doesn't really have much camber change, so when you're turning, it reduces grip and traction, so it's worse for turning.
A double A-arm or wishbone suspension. It's a very commonly used design. It is reliable and easier to repair than other suspensions. The double A-arm is made up of two offset arms of different lengths to help minimize tire scrubbing. It also gives the most camber control of any suspension, giving the vehicle added traction while cornering by keeping the wheels at a 90-degree angle with the road as much as possible. This design allows for positive and negative camber going around turns. However, this suspension is more costly to manufacture and takes up more space on the vehicle than more other simple suspensions. This also makes installation of the suspension more difficult. Overall, the benefits of the double A-arm suspension make it worth the extra work and make it a very viable option for the Mini Baja team.
The current Baja suspension is closely related to the semi-trailing arm suspension. This is a sensible choice for the Baja team to use since it is typically used in the rear axle of motor vehicles. Some advantages of the semi-trailing arm suspension are that it's easy to manufacture and it's also easy to mount and assemble. It requires minimal space on the Baja itself, jutting out horizontally instead. It is also lightweight and durable. A major disadvantage, though, is that since it juts out from the Baja itself, a lot of the suspension is exposed and is susceptible to damage. Also, it is difficult to repair a semi-trailing arm suspension, and for example, it's easier to replace one A-arm in a double A-arm suspension than to replace the entire trailing arm.
Overall, we believe that a double wishbone suspension would be a good improvement for the Mini Baja team. The added control it brings to the vehicle offsets the added difficulty of the manufacturing and packaging, making it a good option for the team. There are more immediate advantages to a double wishbone suspension as opposed to other suspensions. First and foremost is the gain control over the camber of the suspension. The offset lengths of a double wishbone allow for positive and negative camber on each side of the vehicle to increase the traction while turning. This camber control allows the wheels to stay as close to 90 degrees with the ground at all times. This added surface area makes a huge difference when cornering. The double wishbone is also very effective at minimizing tire rubbing. It has a strong design for distribution of weight and more resistance to acceleration torque reaction effects. In the design, there is increased droop available without going into positive camber and more suspension travel. It has increased braking capacity and better resistance to frontal wheel forces from severe bumps. It does, however, have a few disadvantages as well. The double wishbone suspension takes up more space, is heavier than other comparable suspensions, and is much more costly and complex.
Okay, this is the new model for the suspension system for the Baja car. There was a lot that went into it. In order to accommodate for the upper and lower control arms necessary for a double A-arm suspension, I had to completely redesign the frame. The frame is still somewhat similar to the original model. However, it was lacking places to properly mount 2 control arms on each side. If you look at the control arms, both of them are in the shape of a wishbone or the letter A, hence where the name double wishbone or double A-arm suspension comes from. The entire system worked pretty well under the simulation. The tires produce the desired negative camber when the unit moves up and down, and you'll be able to see that animation in the upcoming slides, and of course that's saved with the other files being submitted. As you can see with the top and side views of the system, it is fairly symmetric and ensures an even distribution of weight, which is ideal for a good suspension system. The shocks were placed as close to the wheel as possible, and they are at a 70-degree angle relative to the ground. Shock absorbers work most effectively when they are placed as close to the wheel as possible and as close to 90 degrees as possible. So we tried to compensate for both as best as we could. Obviously, there isn't anything for the top of the shocks to attach to if they were placed at 90 degrees, so that's why they are at an angle towards the frame of the car. This is our bill of materials. In total, 39 parts were used, and there are 16 different types of parts. And those numbers don't include nuts, bolts, or any type of fastener used. And this is the animation of our suspension system at work. And as you can see, the wheel does produce a negative camber when it's moving. In conclusion, we believe we accomplished our goal of designing a rear suspension system that produced negative camber. The double wishbone suspension is a design that can be used by the Baja team, and I know a lot of other MCE 201 groups chose double wishbone suspensions, and I think that further backs up our point that it is a great suspension system for the Baja team to use. Alright, here's our references, and this is the end of our presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.